behind. Hey, the radio, big crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to PT iRacing TV. Tonight we are live at the world famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where today we will see the likes of the RTC iRacing Pro Series as they bring to you the race down at Indy. Hi again everyone, I am Christian the Caceres Driver, and welcome back to the show as always as we get ready for this one and fire it on in. Tonight we are driving on the square-shaped oval configuration known as Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and tonight we're going to see some of the top-tier youngsters and the young guns of our sport fight it out here at the best and the highest peak. We'll start them up on the pole here with Cole Williams, and the 42 is outside. That will be the 95, Parker White. Number 2, Aiden Yaksman Kirker. And the 39 is outside. That will be the 66, Justin R. Smith. Number 3 is going to be Mitch Hobbs, and the 89 is outside, Sataj Man, the number 49. Row 4 sees Chase Pierce, and the 17 is outside, Storm Patterson. And the number 11. Row number 5 sees Mark Lewis, and the 84 is outside, Brady Burgertime. Walleman, the 44. Row number 6 is going to be Kenny Heath, and the 55 is outside, the Ferrari. Connor Tafari. Row number 7 is going to be, well, that will be Mike Cambeyo, and the 24 is outside. He's in the booth, number 2. Row 8, final stars. Mason, they be Jason Thompson, the 81 is outside. Tim Rivers on number 23. And race fans, here we go. We are set to go down in Indy. A whole list of drivers and a whole list of lineups. And as you can probably tell, we still are rocking some new camera angles around here. You'll be able to catch all the action from multiple angles and multiple areas. You're never going to miss a beat here on PT iRacing TV, and you don't miss nothing when you come onto this show. This is where it's all at. This is what it's all about. We're ready to go down here at RTC. It is showtime at Indy. Marching their way off the corners of turn number 4 here this time by. We let them sit, we let them loose. 15 drivers are here tonight. They look to make a statement and make a show. Onto the green flag we go. We are off and running. Wait, what do you mean we got technical difficulties down there? What are you talking about? I thought we got rid of the sound already. Producers, you're supposed to turn the spotter off when you're getting onto the track here, please and thank you. Oh my lord, I'm sorry guys. I know we just heard the spotter there. Alright, sorry about that. Apologies. Let's get back to the action here. Out of the gate though, Cole Williams, the 42 gets the early jump with the 95 purple white, tries to muscle his way around the track. Firing him out the corner cylinders down the 49. It's Sartaj, man, right there on the outside line. Gets a nice big opening. Does not take advantage of it just yet, though. Manages to stay inbound and in trouble here for the starting of this. You may have noticed there may be a few drivers here not with us here tonight. Some of them are a little bit busy, unfortunately, and crew calls and work calls for them. There's a lot of people out here, obviously, that wanted to get down here and race on the world famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this is definitely one of the tracks you have to see to believe when it comes to the racing, comes to the ingenuity these drivers are going to face here tonight. Remember, they are running on open setups, so you can really use that to your advantage here for a long run or a short run. And for a track like this, you need all the help you can get. Drafting is going to be key. Positioning will be even more key than I think they realize here. Now, obviously, I know this track is more built for the open wheels, open cylinder, high cylinder, big block machines known as the Formula Ones and the Indy cars, but obviously we don't have those around here, so we're running pretty much the next best thing. We're giving you guys some fender hard racing action with these guys here tonight. All drivers poising into position, trying to run off here, find some openings when they can, get it going as we go to the pink, the pink and the black of the helmet, the black and pink Sartaj, man, trying to keep his momentum alive here for Nebula Esports, even though outside of that car, that's definitely not the same colors that some of these other drivers have been wearing. Of course, though, this week and this month are going to be extremely important. This is the last week they will be running the pink color schemes. This is, of course, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And obviously good on them for being able to do this and come out with this kind of showcase and for this kind of moment, these kind of days for these drivers. A lot of fans out here obviously love seeing those pink and black cars, love seeing the pink designs on them. And I gotta tell you something too, man, it's really special out here just seeing a lot of these guys, you know, representing and out here just trying to showcase, you know, their maturity and their youth, even though they are literally youngsters, and some of them barely even 13 or even higher than that. Whoa, 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 we got trouble down there for the 80 and the Iceman Kirker. And the Iceman Designs 39 Subaru comes to a dead screeching halt here. Major damage on the front end of that thing. Car is coming to a rest and a halt, but the damage has been done. Take a look at the PTMS replay. Let's find out what happened here. It looks like he got caught up in a bad spot out of the corner of turn number 1. The instant replay does not lie. Let's take a look at this. Whoa, yep, got toe tap there, unfortunately, and ended up getting sent to the Shadow Realm. That's a bad spot to be at. We'll take another look at it here from our angle here, and this is not looking too good out of the start here for these drivers. We'll take a look at it from this angle here from the onboard camera. So Mitch Hobbs, the 89, you can see right there, you know, Kirker was just slightly loose and Hobbs just barely taps him, but it was enough to catch him. And the Iceman is saying, we're done, boys. The car is toast. We're done. We're out. Wow, what a tough break out of the gate here, man. You would not have expected that to happen so quickly and so fast, but unfortunately for the Iceman, he will not return to the show. Wow. So already a lot of craziness and madness kind of presenting itself early on. We'll take a listen down here to some of our drivers here. We'll talk first with Mach 5 Racing's number 17. This is Chase Pierce on the line, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Chase, right out of the gate here, sir, so far up 2 spots in the top 5, and I gotta believe tonight it's probably gonna be the hardest thing to do, which is pass around here on this place, isn't it?
Yeah, it was hard to pass last night here.
Yeah,
I'll see it again.
Yeah, I was about to say I saw that kind of happening when we were watching it. Now you're in this circumstance here. How difficult it is to get really a draft or any kind of speed when it comes to that run anyway?
Well, On that run right there, it was hard to get some draft there, I could tell. I'm going to have to do a tape adjustment and see
Well,
if we can get up it.
well, while you get it done down there, we will let you get back down there with Mach 5 Racing. Best wishes and luck, sir.
Thank you.
Already listening in here. He's getting ready to kind of fix this one up and set himself in. Driver's getting ready to pull them into pit row. They want to do adjustments quickly, get things fixed up. Chase Pierce did not get into pit row the way he wanted either. Did Storm Patterson, the 11. But he's in there enough to at least get some work done and something cleaned up around here. Hayes in the booth in the number 2, and Mason Chase Thompson as well as Tim Rivers did not make the call, so they were not able to join us. Aiden the Iceman Kirker not out here as well, so I'm not sure where the circumstances are going on there, what is happening on this end, but we'll take a listen down here with the Passion Squad team, and now we bring it to you with Justin R. Smith. And Justin, it's been a bit of a tumultuous last couple of weeks here on the racing circuit. You've had some good battles and some good runs, but you're still searching for a little redemption and another win here on PT Race TV.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go out there and get one. I don't know. Parker and Cole have a lot of speed. Luckily, I was able to get a position out of Cole there, but and unfortunately, my teammate got into that first wreck, and he's already out of it. So, kind of alone here. So, just trying to get in victory lane.
Even though you're alone still, I gotta believe most of you guys are probably gonna rely on that draft to make any speeds and build up here. Is that gonna be kind of the same ordeal?
Yeah, you can. If you're not leading, you can save your tires a little bit here, especially in these cars, because dirty air is not as big of a deal. So you can take it a little easier in the corners and just kind of stay in the draft. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Whenever let's do. Appreciate your time here tonight, Justin. Best wishes and luck there in the number 66.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, here from Passion Squad Racing there, Justin R. Smith had a little listen in. Our drivers will get settled back down, try to hopefully get this one fielded in and ready to go. So the field right now ready to build them back in, build them up onto the track zone. Currently Parker White, again old White Lightning as he's referred to as, back once again. It's going to be interesting to see how he does when it comes to this run, this kind of racing. There's a lot of stuff that has to be played in, and really a lot of stuff that can go crazy around these parts. So I don't know, this may be kind of a disadvantage for him, and you heard even Justin R. Smith say, well, the guy is happy that you can see him finally a little bit of speed and build up, but I don't know. We'll have to see here. Our drivers are running back in around with RTC iRacing Series as the field comes to a sudden rest and halt from the wreck we just saw a minute ago for the Iceman and Kirker. We're down to 12 drivers. Kenny Heath, Mike Bale, Storm Patterson rounding out the top, up in the top 12 to 10. As our field gets ready to fire back up, Parker White leads them to charge, and it's green flag racing out of the gate. At that time, thankfully, we did not hear our little spotter kind of calling out some things, kind of trying to help us call the race, believing we don't need them out here. And for the record, folks, if you're wondering, I was using that spotter for Talladega in the ARCA series. Trust me, you need them there. So, but here at Indy, well, the only thing you really need them for is if somebody tries to get on the inside or tries to punch draft you out on the back straightaways. On the back stretch here, so our Dodge man, the 49, leading the way with the 89 of Mitch Hobbs right behind him. Justin R. Smith here still trying to hold the line down. The Elite 66 Toyota Supra in a very keen spot. He's got a little runoff on the outside there. Nice little build-up of speed to get ahead. Now actually takes it back away while Cole Williams and Parker White try to help each other out a little bit. Jay Spears, we just talked to him a minute ago. He is moving the chains up there as well. He got about one spot up, but he lost it just a minute ago. It was 2 up, but now he's only down to 1. Doran Patterson, the 11 Nebula Esports groom driver as well. Man, there's a lot of Nebula Esports guys around these cars. They love to fight it out when they can, that is for certain, but they do not mind having to be a team player or helping each other when it comes to that long haul. For a race like tonight, when you got 60 laps in this 2.5 mile long track, there is certainly a thing or two that can be said about just the speed and overall build-up these drivers have to face off against and really have to keep intact with. Remember, it's a huge. Remember, it is a big track. It's a long track, formation designed. Of course, that's kind of a precursor for Indy cars, obviously, because it's a flatter surface. But without that banking, for a fender car and these stock cars, it really only gives you like one line to hit off of and one to really aim for, which you would think sounds very cool because it sounds more like a Martinsville style race joint, but that's not the case. Here, you put the bumper to anybody. You just saw a minute ago there. Kirkler, unfortunately, getting the receiving end and cost himself. It's just, there's just no way you're going to get out of this. You're just going to find yourself in a really bad spot, and it's going to be a bad omen for you and your team to even get out of that mess later on. And right now, these drivers are currently trying to stay out of the problematic zone and stay in the clear-cut area they want to be in. I do not blame them whatsoever there. Obviously, we saw earlier on that if you get a little too lenient, a little too aggressive, things can get a little bit out of hand and get yourself into trouble more times than not. Jerome Cam switching him down to Brady Burger time. Weilerman there is currently had that thing attached to the side panel there. We'll let it fly off in a minute. Just gives you guys a good incentive, a good idea just how tough these drivers are handling each corner, each turn, trying to stay in the line and stay in play. But already I don't think I'm going to make anything else known, but the Snowman Studios, number 95, the old White Lightning himself, Parker White, has just taken his lead and started to run away from the entire field. Last season did not get to run for the championship, showed up way too late into the field, into the racing, so he told me earlier today, I want to get a championship race season in, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to just completely defy and derail all those that turn past me and try to take me on. I will face them to my wit's end and my core if I have to. You may have noticed something as well here, folks. Again, you see the road course style drag race out there as well. Yes, there is an Indy road course in this facility as well that they race on. Depending on what you see here, it could be either the Formula Ones, IndyCar, or a little bit of NASCAR these days. Personally, I'm more of the NASCAR variety when it comes to the road course racing, but I will say the IndyCars, you make for quite the show. And unfortunately, though, for Conor Ferrari Chafari, damaged up badly on the right side, is going to send him into pit road, try to get that cleaned up a bit. Mark Lewis, the 84, trying to get something back up onto the boys here, trying to get some speed and drift here. Mike Gambale, the 24, way behind the field and off pace. Nebula Esports crew still managing themselves and managing the runoff here. They're not doing too much too crazy. They're still more focused on the overall objective and the overall stance that they have on the track, which is just find the line and find the way to best drift around these corners. And that's something that really a lot of drivers have always talked about, is how well can you run the course when it comes to this kind of momentum and this kind of control. Now, if it was me, I personally probably would be trying to be more falling in line of, okay, get a good qualifying time in, and then from there, just use fuel strategy and pit strategy to whatever we have going on. If I got a 50% fuel run, I'm going to have to time each lap accordingly and see which way we're going to get this. So sometimes, say we got a 60 lap race run or a 50% fuel run, first objective is know how long before the car gives out. That is how you strategize your fuel line and your tires. You can drive them in harder, or do you have to stay more under control. The way Parker White's driving right now, considering he's already got about 7/10 of a distance on Cole Williams, leads me to believe that what he's doing is just driving his own line, driving his car in through each corner as fast as he can, and worrying about tires later on. Not a bad strategy, not a bad idea, but again, for long haul wise, you know, that could boil down to someone maybe getting a lap or two ahead of him if they can somehow stay ahead just by a bit or two from the gas pressure, and all that comes from the tires. The gas pressure is basically the built-up of all the gas line you have inside that fuel tank. You run it out completely, and then it's a bit of a trouble nuisance trying to figure out how to get around that. It's now a whole second pretty much for Parker White on his teammate Cole Williams. You could just see the 95 is already doing something that we know him to all do too well on tracks like this and these kind of races, is just run away from everybody and not care about the rest. Boy, you look at that throttle rhythm and the RPMs just ramming straight to the floorboards, and the speedometer is going up to the extreme red. When you see code red right there, my friends, that means this thing is screaming. The RPMs are getting hot, the engine's getting warmer and fired up. And, you know, a lot of people have always said, you know, the higher you can get it going, the more you get speed built up. You know, granted, yes, that generally is the case. But there also is that one other flaw and detail in there, which is how much weight is distributed from each side of the car to the other end. And again, on an open setup, you can change that completely around to where you can actually get more of a runoff on these kind of cars. Now, there is an Indy setup they can use the baseline off of, but they also have a little bit of a field line they also have to worry about, because there is rules and regulations with every car out there. You can only have it at a certain weight, certain angle, certain line, certain height, and everything else. So it could be a little bit of a challenge, and it could be a little bit of a guessing game, but the best out there always figure out a way to set the car up just right. Tell you what's got saying a small field tonight. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we only had about 14 drivers come on board here to race. We were supposed to have 16, but some could not make the call. And no, this isn't like a Formula 1 Indy, Formula 1 2005 Indy fiasco or disaster, unfortunately. This is just literally some drivers just could not make it into the race, and they could not get it into the track zone because of too much traffic dribbles coming at them, or there was some kind of internet connections there, or maybe the motor would not fire up. There's a lot of issues that can usually plague these drivers and plague the track out here with this kind of situation too. Cole Williams, we know him pretty well when it comes to how he has handled himself on the 1.5 miles. So I'd say more than anything, probably the track that scares me the most when trying to face him on is probably Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I don't know what it is with him there, but it seems like whenever he gets over there, he can get a runoff on anything. He can just literally make the car last out better than anyone else I've ever seen. He's extremely smart on that track specifically. He can do a good job at Texas, but I think Parker White honestly kind of proved that he is extremely tough to beat there. Even with the experience of the 1.5 miles, it just seems like more or less that Parker, it's just kind of the all-around better driver when it comes to most of these races. And I got a feeling a lot of people out there are probably just questioning, you know, why is that? And I think a lot of it just has to boil down to experience and mastering his craft. You have to have a certain kind of craft to be able to race with the fastest, the most elite of drivers. And he seems to have been dialing that in ever since he got onto the service and ever since he got into iRacing in general. You know, because this is not something you could just pick up and play. No. This, again, iRacing is designed as it's almost like a tool. That's the way I can explain it. It's designed more as a tool to increase your skill and increase your knowledge of tracks and circuits out here. Now, yes, it is supposed to be designed to have fun with, because again, you know, if you're not having fun, then, well, why are you in the business? Because let's be honest with you folks, sim racing and racing in general, this is not a cheap sport. Like, if you're going to do this, you better have a little bit of money and you better be ready for the payments at hand, because this is literally probably one of the most expensive sports out there to get into and actually be good at. Matter of fact, there's so many good folks out there and good drivers that actually can never even get into this stuff because really they just don't have the funds or they don't have the services. Formula One's a good example of it. As mentioned before, though, we are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the sole venture, the sole palace, if you will, of course, the well-known Indianapolis 500. It is a track that, like we have said on a multiple variety of occasions, it tests the best of drivers, and it really brings out the worst or the absolute toughest in their name and in their game. But those that are able to figure stuff out, and those that are able to master its hard turns and its extremely rough edges of the bottoms and the tough corners, find themselves in victory lane all too often. But this is definitely a high speed, high level kind of racetrack. Chase Spears, number 17 machine right now. Trying to hunt down Brady Burgertime Weileman. Weileman driving that 5 below 44 for pretty much most of the season. But he has found himself in a bit of a receiving end or two on some controversy. Yeah, of course, Bristol Motor Speedway being one of them with 80 in the Iceman Kirker. Unfortunately, lap traffic and then finding himself kind of in the old Bristol mentality. I think that was really one of the first times we've ever seen that really kind of pop up or tune up on our end. That was, you know, folks kind of had a little bit of a laugh at it later on, but when you're in that circumstance, that situation, I can tell you one thing right now, it's definitely not fun to deal with, and it certainly is a very frustrating situation and circumstance to be put into. Thankfully, obviously, everyone has kind of rekindled and coincided with one another, as these leagues usually always do, man. These guys, these young guns, these drivers, man, they always seem to just want to stay out of trouble. They want to keep themselves more in line, more in place, and they do a great job of it too. They really do care about the product on the track, and they do care about it, obviously trying to give the fans a show and race their hearts out for themselves. But you know, that is one thing I am just kind of noticing more and more as of late, is that they really like to show the toughest and the baddest kind of cars on the toughest and baddest kind of races. Best lap tonight so far here is going to be boiling down to a 53.29, and who else lays it down but, of course, old White Lightning himself. Parker White was pretty much at the speeds of 197 miles per hour when he hit that speed in time. Right now his top speed's well into the 194 range. Meanwhile, Sartaj Mann at about 198 miles per hour is coincided his kind of speed control. So actually, I take that back. Parker White actually was hitting a 199 mile per hour run, excuse me, not a 198 like we said, or 97. Did I say 97? Nice. I'm already losing it now, guys. We're barely even got halfway through this race. Mitch Hobbs trying to hunt down that 66 of Justin R. Smith. Smith right now looking to be the last remaining hope here for this Passion Squad racing crew. You take a look at that onboard camera. I want you to pay close attention to that wheel right there. You can see, we've seen from the cockpit view from his helmet cams on many of these guys just how well they can hold the line in and steer these cars out. But this is just a good idea and a representation of really how much the wheel moves and how realistic it is to see everything just kind of coming into place, being put together at the same time and used at the right moments and the right shots. Mitch Hobbs, the 89 driver right now, the Nebula Esports Ford Mustang, trying to hunt down Justin Smith, we just mentioned a minute ago. Obviously, he had one of his other Fast Squad drivers he had to take on earlier, which of course was the Iceman Ian Kirker, but unfortunately Kirker getting a little bit loose into turn 1, got toe tapped by the 89, and Kirker called it a night, said the car is done, we're totaled, we're out. Very frustrated and very sad and deepened to hear that from him. Obviously, I know that was not what he wanted to have done, and not what he wanted to see by any means. You know, he just really kind of found himself in a bad place at a bad time. '26 of 60 right now put in the books here at Indy. Everyone's still finding their way around the track, finding their line. Here you see Chase Pierce still in the 17, doing everything he can. Trying to rock it up there and fight it back up to the 44, Brady Bergota Wellerman. You know, Chase Pierce, I haven't really talked too much with him or really seen too much of his work, but judging by his stats right now, he's got a B-class right now license with about 3,413 on the iRating. Now, again, about a 3,400 on the iRating is generally pretty good. Now, the safety rating obviously could use a little work, but that iRating right there is already a pretty good sign considering most guys, myself included, we can barely even get into the 2,000s on our class level. So if you're hitting well ranking into those high 3s, high 5s, or even you're extremely good, you get a 7,000 iRatings. That really just shows you the talent and the speed that they possess and the control no matter where they go out on the track. On board here, the 88 Ford Mustang, 89 Ford Mustang, excuse me, of Mitch Hobbs here in the Nebula Sports Machine. Just kind of taking every corner with stride, taking every spot in as well as he has to. Here you can actually see those wheels moving just the slightest bit. Trying to stay nice and straight, not trying to let the car get too out of shape, too out of whack. Obviously, there's a lot that really plays out here and gets yourself in that area. And looks like right now, actually, we've lost a few drivers here. Sartaj Mann, Kenny Heath, Mike Campbell, Connor the Ferrari Chafari, and Iceman Kirker have all unfortunately left the building. Troubles for both all drivers involved. We're down to only 8 drivers, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of stunned. We were down to only 8 when we had 16 scheduled to join us. Yeah, it's kind of a tough break there, unfortunately. The Pro Series obviously have them going through it quite a bit here on PT Racing TV. Some having some better seasons than others. Some finding themselves in a Rocky Mountain situation, or a Rocky Mountain way, if you will. No pun intended there for Godsmack. Yeah. But unfortunately, this has definitely been more of a struggle for those that are trying to find their speeds, find their run. Whoa, what? Oh, and the 11 of Storm Patterson. Oh boy. The 11 there just completely guard railing it in, down into the corner of turn 4, ends up sending himself into pit road, but what on earth happened here? Hold on just a minute. Take a look at this here coming out of turn 4. Watch this. He gets a really good runoff here, but is he trying to go into pit road, or did this just kind of happen like that? Okay, from that angle, it looked like he was going for pit road, but the fact that he kind of spun out and lost control, I'm not sure if he's trying to save and reconcile the speed or momentum or what he did there, but the 11 is going to be in pit road for a little bit of time to get cleaned up and also serve that penalty. That is a penalty for going into pit road at such great speeds when there is a limit on that. Halfway done though so far here, race fans, and this is right now looking more and more like Parker White's show once again. The man's got a 4-second lead on the entire field, including his teammates. We're going to go on board here with Parker White, and we're going to take a listen in and look at what he's got going down on the track. So you can see that rear end slightly sliding out from underneath him, but really, that's the reason why he is so fast like that is because, again, because that speedy controls and that cornering off, the looser you are, the faster you can be. And that's exactly what he's hoping for there. But notice though, as he goes in back to the right, you can see he actually steers the wheel in just a slight bit more right. Again, he's trying to recover the rear end from sliding out too much from underneath him. He doesn't want to lose too much off that corner and off those exits. He wants to keep the momentum as fast and as smart as possible, and that's exactly what he's up to at this moment. Positions right now, lap times here, sees Justin Smith continuing to keep his distance from Hobbs, but Hobbs hasn't exactly left the building yet. Mitch Hobbs might have a little bit of a chance if he can start to really build the speed back up, but you can see the 66 still has a great deal of more control over Hobbs' end there. You can see the rear end sliding out slightly there off the turn 2, but again, when you're going to turn 1, if you take that exit of Mitch Hobbs, he had a worse exit comparingly to Justin R. Smith. And I don't know how much more that is going to be playing out or what they'll have to deal with here. Because again, there's so many ways it can go right. There's so many ways it can go wrong out here. And it seems like more than anything, it's just being more of a strategy base here at this point. Mitch Hobbs is going to go into pit road though. Finally sends it in there. Storm Patterson still trying to get the... I don't know. I can't really tell if he's in pit road or if he is somewhere else down there. It looks like he might have just parked it in a bad spot. I'm not seeing any of his pit crew down there working it. He may actually have some damage on the right front, on the left side there. That ended up getting smashed in from the wall protection. Still about a 5 1/1500 here lead here for Parker. We're going to take a look at the lap times here. And I don't even think really, I was about to say, I don't even think Cole Williams even got one lap on him since maybe the beginning of this. I always keep go back to this kind of conclusion. I don't know what White has for a steering wheel or baseline pedals down there, but sometimes I almost think to myself, does he have literally like some kind of direct drive with a set of pedals down there that are like from Husqvarna or Husqvarna Sprints or Husqvarna? You guys, folks that know in sim racing, they know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we've kind of talked about this before here. That obviously the pedals and the wheel are the biggest key to victory, but sometimes that little bigger brand can make the slightest difference to get you about a tenth of a second off your times or a little bit faster on the runs. You know, I hate saying it, but that does make a huge difference. It makes a big runoff. But tonight, see, to me, it doesn't really seem it's more or less the pedals. It seems more it's the wheel control that he's having around here, and it could be. I know, obviously the way he was jolting the wheel back in and around, it looked more like he was using kind of an offset of about 12 to 1, maybe 14 to 1 with a stronger baseline on that set there with the wheel. So the force feedback obviously kicking in at the right time in the right place, which makes for a good workout. And obviously that's what the NASCAR drivers actually have to deal with. They have to deal with those kind of heavy artillery and equipment on the track at all times. Although yet we still don't know for sure how it's going to be when the next gen cup cars come on out and actually are fully tested and prepared. I will say this though, whenever iRacing does get those next gens finally dialed up and figured out, I will be extremely excited because honestly they are fun. They are fun at times to mess around with and see how much bumping and banging you can do, but I think in all honesty it's going to more or less boil down to a long run situation with those. So Brady Mercantile Weileman was up for the head for a little while. Decides to go into pit road here, park it down there for a second. Mitch Hobbs and Justin Smith swapping places and not swapping paint here. Hobbs actually about a 5-second gap between him and Smith. Smith trying to catch him. While Cole Williams, I think at this point, I think he knows that if he can just kind of stay out on the pace and stay out on the track, he'll have himself at least a second place finish. And already now for pit road, the last looks like it will be time for Cole Williams and Parker White to both head in. So maybe a slight gap opening, if you will, coming up for Mitch Hobbs. But honestly, he's so far behind right now, though. If he does not find a way to catch up and get up quickly, I don't think there's no way he's going to take down Parker. Even then, once you get ahead of him, he's just going to catch back up to you and just take this one from you. XC drivers heading out of pit road now. Parker White being one of them. And here's the funny thing, he's already pretty much blocked out turn 1 and 2. He had such a huge lead on these guys that he's already getting so far up to speeds and back up to the run here. His teammate isn't even able to catch him. Second and a half, second and a 5.4, 7.4. Nope, White's back on the speed. And God, I really don't get how he can find that kind of speed and that kind of momentum on the track. I really don't. He just somehow he just finds it. I don't even understand it sometimes. Hobbs has been in the pit road, so he may be able to use that pit strategy to his advantage to stay up there with them. But you know, other than Sartaj Mann being out and losing Storm Patterson, WL Esports' his whole crew is pretty much locked and loaded to take this whole one and be a clean sweep. The only driver that really has a chance or even a fair shake at knocking down the top 3, or at least knocking on that door, is definitely Justin Smith. And again, Cole Williams is about a second and a tenth ahead right now, and he's already starting to build more speed up. You can just see it in the runoffs. Down to the final 20 laps here now, and it looks like, if anything, I would say maybe Justin R. Smith has kind of found himself in between a rock and a hard place here. We'll go on board here with him and see how well he's gained some speed. Now, like Parker White earlier on, you can see his strategy is very similar, but you may notice maybe one slight difference. Notice how he's going out into the exits of the turns. Do you notice something there? You can actually see a slight tilt to the right, a little bit more kind of sideways off the corners than Parker White. Now, the reason why I even bring this up is because when you watched White earlier, when he kept it straighter into the exits, into the entries, that was how he was building that speed up, and that's how he was building his run up. He wasn't steering in nearly as much, and he wasn't having as much trouble down there keeping the car on line and on base. The straighter you are around the tracks, the faster you become. And that's pretty much why we've always said, if you're going to find the right line, you got to basically find a line that allows you to shorten the track up or allows you to basically get a straighter end of the surface in the track. That's why when you watched Kansas Speedway last night, you actually saw a lot of drivers finding multiple angles and multiple grooves, and no one really found a specific line to run off of until the last 10 laps when Randall Falks was just completely destroying the bottom line to get up to the race lead, because that was the way to get around the track the fastest. The outside line was getting blocked and tortured with, and most guys were just using the bottom to throw sliders at each other. Now, obviously, here in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you can throw sliders, but, well, if I'm being dead honest and I'm being for real here, you mainly only do that with the Formula One Indy cars, like the Delaras, DW3s, and I believe DW12s, I think that's what they call them, Delara 12s. Again, I have not the very good knowledge of Indy cars or road course, or the open wheels, to be honest with you folks. Looks like a little bit of action kind of bolstering up, though. As you can see, the top hat, number 17, and Chase Pierce going to have to deal with the 5 below. Number 44, Brady Burgertime Weileman. Weileman getting slightly loose. Up the corners. Nice save there, but oh no. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Drift it, drift it, drift it. Woo! Wow, that was a nice save by Brady Burgertime Weileman. Yeah, again, you can hear it. You obviously heard me say it. Drifted, drifted, drifted. He was so loose and so far to the right. The only way to get out of that was to drift the corner. Obviously, the tires are going to take an absolute beating, and the rubber's going to get shredded off. But the good news is, you save the car, it keeps it in one piece, and if something happens, well, maybe there might be an opportunity or a chance here, but that's not saying much. Six shifters, Sim Racing machine number 17 of Chase Pierce, still holding the line down and keeping himself up ahead of the entire field. Now again, he hasn't really been tested when it comes to being in that top 5 spot in that slot that he's been in. But right now, Brendan Weileman, well, he seems to be getting one last edge at him. One way or another, those that have stayed out here are going to get a point stay with this track and this car in this series. And it makes you wonder just how much more is coming up, how much more madness will be had for all these drivers out here, because again, there's a lot of them that want to prove they can do better and they can do faster than any of them else. But today anyway, at Indianapolis, I think this has just really been more of a kind of let them go out there and fight it out kind of attitude or two. $15 laps remain now, and Parker White He's pretty much just left the building. Let's just say that. I think he found himself. I don't even think he's in even Indianapolis anymore. I think he actually went so far outside of Indianapolis. I think he might be down in Chicago, Illinois somewhere. He's gone south for the winter. He's gone so quickly. He got out of here so fast. I swear I might have actually had to find a way to catch that old Back to the Future DeLorean out here, because that's the only way I'm going to catch him. Cole Williams is right now making his way around, though, of Mark Lewis, the 84 mark. Give the credit where credit's due to this guy, though, man. This guy, he will come out here. He may not be the fastest, and he knows it, but there's one thing you cannot help but respect, is his commitment and his dedication to still race, even when really he's maybe kind of one of the lower ends, kind of the lower spectrums. He still comes out and tries to put on a show and put on a battle. You know, you got to give credit where credit's due to those drivers that stick it out to the end, give it everything they got, and give it their guns, you know, all their stuff there. He really wants to stay out here and prove something, and I got to give him all that credit in the world. You see Storm Patterson down there. He is actually finally in pit road. He's getting cleaned up and fixed up still. But unfortunately, it's really too little too late. Even if he gets back out on the track, he's going to be so many far laps down. He's just going to have to stick with the position he's got, which is currently 8th position. But I think if anything, he'll be like Richard Petty when his last race at Atlanta Motor Speedway in 1992, and just go out there and go broke. Mark Lewis heads to pit road now as well, so he'll put it in there for just a little bit. Chase Pierce right now, the number 17, still firing him off, still keeping up there with the Burger Time, Brady Weidelman, and the number 44. Just keep plugging laps away, guys. Just keep putting this one in the books. Next week, though, drivers will be traveling a little bit more into a more comfort zone for some, and maybe a little bit of a wider area there at Watkins Glen. Their next showcase then will bring them down to New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the 10th. Then Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway comes a ride on the 17th. You'll have the 24th off. We'll see then World WWT Gateway for the first time ever with the Xfinity Series down on Wednesday night in December. And then Chicagoland after that, with the 15th being Michigan. They'll take a little break for Christmas and then off to Kansas after on that next one. Leading into the new year, they'll have a little fun. Take it to Talladega after their race to Daytona. It should be a good one for Talladega zone. The 12th we'll see at Atlanta. And the final race will be down at Darlington on the 19th of January. And that one, I honestly got to believe that is a track that may be testing some patience and testing some drivers more than this track will here tonight. Because the one thing we've talked about with Darlington before is that it's probably one of the hardest tracks to win on, much less one of the hardest tracks to really race on in general. So for those that are still tuned in with us here right now on PT Race TV, we do appreciate you coming on board. Thanking you once again. Obviously, this will not be our last race of the week. We actually have two events coming up. One, we have a little surprise for you. We're not going to tell you all about it just yet, but just tune in Saturday. Just tune in on Saturday night, and you will see what goes down and what plays out. I think you might like it. It's a little bit something different and maybe a little bit crazier than I think most people realize or even know about. So that's all I'm going to tell you for now. No more answers on that. And then, of course, on the 31st, and then on the 29th, though, but that'll be Friday night, we will see the last race of the season for the Xfinity Series on NASCAR Heat 5 for the KMB Pro Series. So be sure to tune in for that. That'll be down at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And then on the 31st, we have one more event coming up that week. It'll be with Shake and Bake Racing League, and we're going to head down there. Of course, with the pros, we're going to be heading down with the Cup Series. They'll be setting off into Martinsville, and I believe they're driving next-gen Cup cars down there, or something like, or around something like that. Or excuse me, I think they're actually driving the Xfinity Series there. So, well, either way, it's either Xfinity Cup or it's the next gens. I cannot remember for sure, but you still gotta tune in for that one and see what happens. But right now, let's look like somewhere going on here. We actually have a major fight coming on our hands down the back straightaway. A little bit of late rallying from Justin R. Smith. He's had enough of these Nebula Esports guys. He wants to knock them down a few pegs. Mitch Hobbs, you saw him literally going to the bottom. What does that mean? He was blocking. He was trying to defend off the 66. Smith was not taking too kindly to that. He's trying to make him work for it, make him a little bit more eager to make a pass off there. Trying to draft him up, trying to bash him in a little bit here. A little bit of a corner off exit. Hobbs is going down low. That's a very bad place to put your car at. Smith looking to make him pay for that here. He opens the door wide open like a thief of the night. Here comes Smith looking to sneak his way inside. Looking for the runoff. He needs a good exit. Got some speed. He gets around Hobbs for that third place spot. Extremely careful, precise maneuvering by both drivers, but it would be the 66 of Smith that ended up taking the advantage and taking away the shot call away from them on that one. They're down to the final 7, and it's currently White just keeps punching laps in, punching the lane, just racing. This is where your race battle is here at the moment, though. Mitch Hobbs and Smith, two heavy hitters in their own right, trying to prove their worth, trying to prove their showcase. Hobbs right now, the only thing he's hoping for is just the last bit of drafting, last bit of help to get to knock down Justin R. Smith. Smith, I don't know if he's going to really get that opportunity, though. There's just not a lot of breathing room down there. Oh, I can't say there's only battle down there. We got one more heading up as well. Chase Pierce and Brady Burgertime Weileman finally going at it. Weileman was catching Pierce in a variety of ways in a few laps, but he did not have the speed or the control to stay in that run and stay in it because he was spinning and sliding out just a slight bit there. Oh, and a big little lump tap bump in the rear end for the 17 from Weileman ends up getting both drivers closer together than I think they were expecting. Pierce staying in the shot. Weileman way out of bounds though. Gets into the wall protection, sliding it just off the outside end. Man, that got a little bit wild there for both drivers. Pierce was getting tapped in the back. Meanwhile, the 44 was trying to keep it from getting too far out of whack. Last popping up. Time evading away here. Parker White, really no surprise here. 5 to go. He's pretty much locked this one. Let's just say it now. Justin R. Smith getting a good run to the very end here. A late strategy from him ends up taking Mitch Hobbs down while Pierce and Weileman are just trying to finish their little battle here. Somebody's got to give us an inch here. Five laps remaining here, and now Weileman looking to draft harder off the 17, but you can see Pierce, he's staying very close to his advantage. He's keeping an extremely close eye on him. He knows what he wants to do. He knows he can't let him have it just yet. And in the foreground, catching up to all of them. You can see that 95 of Parker White is just managing his corners even better than anything else. And you notice, like I said earlier on, just how straight he's kept his car in rhythm. He's kept it online this entire night. I think he just wants to lap I just think he just wants to lap these other two drivers, but I don't know if that's a really smart move. I honestly think I probably would be backing off a little bit once I catch him, just in case they may get into a bit of a circumstance. You got such a far lead. I wouldn't even worry about these two up front. I wouldn't even try to race past them or even get past them. I would just let them go out and do their own thing. The last thing you want to do is find yourself in the wrong end, the wrong place, and the wrong time. And obviously, Parker White, he's very well aware of that. He knows what that's done to him before. 3 remain. Weileman's trying, and you can see how hard that rear end slides from underneath him. The more it keeps doing that, though, the more it's going to just keep hurting his momentum. If he can't get that rear end to stop sliding from an exit, he's not going to build any speed to catch up there. He's trying to rely so much on the draft that he can't get a good run up in the corners. He needs to try to find a way to keep the car in straight and on bounds to then run off and catch him on the later end. That's the only way he's going to be able to do anything about trying to take down Pierce. And it looks like he finally has a little bit more control off it. There it is. Very good turn, but you can see he's already slightly dismayed and a little bit looser off it. Oh, something went. I heard a motor go. Motor just went on one of these drivers here. Something blew. You heard something completely blow off. It's not Parker White. It's not him in this case. Somebody's motor completely went though. I think it might have been Mark Lewis or Storm Patterson down there. That's the only two I could think of. Everybody's still okay. No one losing any time, so it was not anybody on the lead laps or on the track still at this point. But you heard it in the background. You can hear the ch-choom. That means the motor goes, and it blew. It blew sky high. Well, here we go. This is going to be a last-ditch effort and last-ditch battle here for Weileman. But after coming off turn 4, white flag is out for the White Lightning Machine. Number 95 SMS is Parker White. Weileman trying to get one last-ditch effort on Pierce. Pierce trying to hold him back. Anybody's guess who's going to get at least that spot here. They have one more lap they'll go around too before they have to finish this race out. Trying to cave in all of them though. Maybe get one more push and one more runoff. He'll fire him down one more time around out of 3 and 4. And Parker White, old White Lightning, just somehow, some way, finds his grip, finds the speed. Oh, hang on, don't get yourself into trouble yet. White, you still got to get across the finish line, bud. Oh, he'll be all right. He'll get to the finish, and one of these guys is going to walk away with this one. It'll be Parker White winning it out, but Weileman and Pierce are still going to race it in. They got to go one more lap around. Cole Williams is going to take second. Third's going to go Justin R. Smith. Fourth being Mitch Hout. But who's going to get fifth here? We're not going to leave this battle here. Pierce is still in it to win it. I think Parker White's actually hanging right back behind him. He knows he's already finished the race. He's going to hang back and try to help these guys. He's already won the race. He's just going to let him just fight it out and help him. Want to see who gets the advantage. Pierce gets a big disadvantage here. Weileman just sneaks his way in, corners it off hard there. And that one will be the kill blow. That is the death switch engaged. Brady Burgerton Weileman will take home 5th, and 6th will go to Chase Pierce. But nonetheless, your race winner here at Indy. No surprise there. Parker White finds it all again. Little celebration down there in the burnout section. We'll take a look at our race results now on your screen. In our order: White, Williams, Smith, Hobbs, Weileman, Pierce, Lewis, Patterson, Cambeau, Heath, Trafari, Kirker, Booth, Thompson, Rivers, all rounding out your field. And this is probably one of the harder races I think these guys have had to ever come up against and put themselves up against. But they never quit. They never gave out. That, my friends, deserves all the credibility and respect to them for at least going to the very end into the wall. We'll have a little listen in now with our drivers here. See if we can talk with the guys here. Looks like Smith may not be joining in with us here though. So it looks like we'll give him that third place finisher spot here. Maybe probably already, we did talk with him earlier, so I think maybe he's just like, I don't really need to talk anymore. We'll call it good here tonight. Well, we'll listen in here now. Cole Williams will go ahead and chit chat with us here. He has your second place finisher here tonight. Race fans here in the 42. Cole Williams, congratulations on that, sir. And sorry to interrupt your little talk there with the teammates, but we just want to try to get you in here and get that second place finish talk out of the way. But it seemed like you had a lot of speed, just wasn't quite the level some of the other guys were, was it?
Yeah, man, just Parker's just I mean, you just want to finish like the goal is just to try to stay within 5 seconds or so each week, and I mean, 8.7 is not like is definitely not good enough, and not setup wasn't fast enough to stay there, and also just the way I was driving it, I was starting to get better towards the end of the race. He was helping me get into the corner, and that was just kind of where I was trying to, because Indy just you got to get into the corner to get out the rest of the corner, just where you have to put your left side. So. Um, it was just difficult all night long, just trying to drive. I mean, obviously, we had one caution, and I just chose to throw the lead away. I don't really know what I was doing, other than just totally blowing through my box, and that might have saved me a few seconds. Because I would have been able to start in front and control the start, and you would have had to pass me, and that would have hurt his tires more, blah, blah, blah. So you would have been a little bit closer in the grand scheme of things, but definitely didn't have the speed to win. I just had some right rear damage there as well, just trying to push to an absolute limit on the entry and next to the corners, and it was just, it was impossible to try to, just match its pace. So we were just trying to survive from there, and P2 is not bad at all, and we had like easy 20-second gap to third, and that was so it kind of made for a very stress-free race.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You obviously had kind of everything in the tools and all that set for this game plan tonight, but nevertheless, you are coming away second place here. So, is there anybody you want to thank here for that finish, sir?
Yeah, man. Just want to thank Nebula Esports and all my teammates back there. They really thank you to Parker for helping me out and just how to drive the track, and also setting the benchmark, setting the ante for each race we come in here and try to compete. I want to thank Rocket Racing Setups and everyone back there, Richard Murtaugh Jr., Michael Conti, Brandon Hastings, and the B Car team over there as well, for just being there for the help for any adjustments, and having good basis for setups for tracks that officials gone to. So thanks to them. Thanks to broadcasting each and every week. Always fun to finally be able to come up here and talk. I haven't had a top three. I don't know. Maybe I think I've only had like two or one this entire season. So um, good to be up here.
It's good to talk with you again here, Cole. Been a while, but hey, nice to hear from you once more. Congratulations on that second place finish, sir, and we certainly hope to see you here very soon.
Thank you, man.
Cole Williams walking away here with a second place finisher here tonight. Joining me now, real quick though, in the top spot once more. Give it up for old White Lightning himself, Parker White. And Parker, just once again, just another increasingly dominant performance and just showcasing what the 95 is all about down there.
Oh yeah, it definitely was an interesting race. We were on all the nebulas on the same qual set this week because just I couldn't really find anything in qual, so I tested before the race. I got us a pretty decent or a pretty solid qual set. I just took a VRS setup from a while ago and made some changes to that, and then that's what we used. So Cole and I were able to luck out 1-2 with Cole getting the pole, and we're off to a good start there. I was just gonna hang out behind Cole there. And we were starting to pull away, then we got a caution. So we came down pit road. I was able to get the lead, and then from there I just gave us a countdown on start and got Cole into second. Then I just made sure I didn't burn the tires off, and I was struggling a bit center off on the long run. I thought it was going to get loose, but then it got tight, so I had saved too much right rear, and then I was just too tight. So I had to. But the good thing about that was I could drive it a certain way and get it a bit free center off, and that kind of helped. So until pit stops, I was just kind of trying to put some lap times down, and then once we got to pit stops, I just made sure I didn't make any mistakes entering pit road. So that was probably the biggest part, just not make any mistakes on pit road. But yeah, just able to come home with another win, which definitely feels good.
For sure, there another win. Obviously, a big coming out party. Obviously, trying to get into that season championship later in the season, a little more runoff for you. But nevertheless, you are walking away with a W at Indy. So, is there anybody you want to thank for that one?
Yeah, just gotta thank you, Christian, for the broadcast, just all that admin to the league, Northwest Racing. I'd also like to thank Santiago Gutierrez for the setup. Uh, I'd also like to thank SRD and Summit Studios.
For sure, there. Well, nevertheless, here, Parker, great to see you back in the race victory once more. We will see you next time out, sir, and hopefully we'll see some more action from you and the crew as we continue with this season.
Yeah, thank you.
Old White Lightning, Parker White wins it out here at Indy. Race fans, that'll do it with your coverage here from the RTC Pro Series and the iRacing League. It is now time to send it off from Indy. I will see you guys next time when the green flag flies here on PT Race TV. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on the show.